I loved it from start to finish.
This was horrible. Like, horrible.
And it was an awful movie, so I gotta give it the quick one.
Sure.
You hated it? You hated it?
Oh, not a movie for me.
I've learned early on Netflix and Phil not to ever say that.
Yeah, try to start low.
We didn't learn that early on.
They'd be like, why'd you guys change clothes? That's just weird.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of expected Travis to change his shirt. I won't even lie.
Nah. Shane O'Mac, it's too comfy.
Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, my plan is next time to do the next 3 when we record on the Adam Sandler one.
A few times. God, there's about 7 of those somewhere throughout this room.
And they're not going to
Oh, good time.
Should hang them from the roof like they're flying.
My mom did that.
With your Batman figures?
Mm-hmm.
There's like 6 or 7 of these like
I
weird
exact
stuffed
one?
ones. Well, there's a
Can I
couple.
see his face?
There's a
I don't know
couple.
which one
You
that
don't want
is.
to.
That's the Val Kilmer one.
Yeah.
That's from Batman Forever.
Wow, that's not good.
I can tell they're different faces.
Yeah, and they have different like sort of different costumes.
Yeah. Let me just pull up 9
Different
lines.
girth of the thigh.
Pull up 9 lives on good old Rotten Tomatoes here. See what. I'm pretty sure I know what's rated. So
It's only PG, I think.
PG. Oh, there you go. And Christopher Walken's in this. Jennifer Gardner. Great cast. Oh, it's up from last time I saw it. That's good for them.
What's it up to?
I'll tell you on the cast.
1.5.
For your reaction.
If it's past 3, we're not allowed to.
No,
What?
not
No, on Netflix.
Rotten
No, I meant the rate on the Rotten Tomatoes score. So,
Cool.
oh, am I recording on this? Yeah, here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Netflix and Fail.
Yep.
I'm the Catman, Travis Snell. It's a legitimately a DC comic character, Catman.
Catman.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, well, I'm just Emily.
I'm just Dylan.
I'm Catwoman, Jessica.
There you go. If you haven't guessed it, by the title we've made our nicknames, we're watching 9 Lives. Kevin Spacey classic.
When did this movie come out?
What?
Last
Last year?
Oh, really?
It's
I was
recent.
thinking this was like 1994.
No.
You would think so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. To preference this, if you're a new listener, because we forgot that. So if you're a new listener, what we do is we look at movies on my Netflix that are under 2.5 and say, hey, does it really deserve a fail? Because that's a failing mark. That's bad for me. Does it really deserve a failing mark? We watch it to find out. So far, only one has gone past the pass.
A couple movies for one person have gotten over the mark, but
No.
it has to be consensus.
Yeah, because the last one we just
It's
did.
okay.
Okay. Minus Taylor. Every time there's not been a full on. So yeah, Taylor doesn't count. Because we just get him on here to give some bias. But watching 9 Lives, Tom Brand is a daredevil billionaire at the top of his game. His company Firebrand is nearing completion on its greatest achievement to date, the tallest skyscraper in the Northern Hemisphere. This already sounds like a super fucking generic movie. But Tom's a workaholic. Lifestyle has disconnected him from his family, particularly his beautiful wife, Laura, played by Jennifer Gardner, and his adoring daughter, Rebecca. Wow, he's a daughter in this. Rebecca's 11th birthday is here, and she wants a gift. She wants every year a cat. Tom hates cats, but he is without a gift, and time is running out. His GPS directs him to a mystical pet store brimming with odd and exotic cats, where the store's exotic owner, Felix Perkins, Christopher Walken, presents him with a majestic tomcat. There's literally 2 more
Are you reading
paragraphs.
the synopsis of the whole movie?
That was it. There's 2 more paragraphs. I'm done because
It
it
sounds
goes
like
on.
Liar Liar. Like, guy disconnected from his family, child makes a wish on their birthday, and then the dad gets stuck with the situation.
Mm-hmm. So, Dylan, you had heard nothing of this movie. You thought it was a 1994 movie. This came out last year. What were you thinking? There's some great talent. Christopher
Well, you
Walken.
didn't explicitly say this, but Kevin Spacey turns into a cat.
He turns into a cat. That's saying it's pretty much.
That's what this movie.
The plot seems like he has to learn how to live, win his family back and live again. You know?
Well, he's gonna see it from a different
Yeah.
One of my favorite childhood movies is Jack Frost, where a man was turned into a snowman. He must fight to get his family back. And it's a great movie. Great movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in a good 10 years, but it was good when I watched it last. So I like Kevin Spacey. I like cats. I like Christopher Walken. So this movie has potential written all over it. This one sounds like it could be so bad that it's good.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm hoping for.
And that is how, the only movie that has ever passed on this show, that's how it did it, by being so bad that it was good.
So just to clarify, what is the Netflix mark and what is the Rotten Tomatoes mark?
Rotten Tomatoes 11% for critics. Average rating of a 2.8 out of 10.
Yikes.
Audience score a bit higher. Actually, not really. 43%, so its percent is higher, but the average rating is 2.9. So they're a 0.1 average rating with much less people reviewing it. So, yeah, at one point this movie was notorious 0 on Rotten Tomatoes for a long time, but it has 6 fresh reviews, so good for them.
And then, I mean, Netflix
Was
scales
one
it off.
star?
Well, it scales it
Off of what
Everyone's
we've watched.
Yeah.
Netflix is different,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but I just want to know what hit
One star.
yours was 1 star.
1 star.
Yeah, because I think mine was higher. Just I'll take it from Dylan here while talking. My brother and sister, so I have an 8 and a 10-year-old brother and sister, and they love this movie. They said it was amazing. They wanted me to come over and have movie night and watch it. For the fans, though, I held off, so I haven't watched this yet. So given their children, I mean, they said that there was a lot of funny moments, a lot of laughs. So I'm kind of optimistic that it will be bad enough. That
I used to like the Star Wars
entertaining.
prequels, though.
We've talked about this before. I don't mind them, so maybe I'm a little more optimistic than you.
Okay.
They were so bad they were good too.
Okay. Well,
no.
Jar Jar.
Expectations.
Jar Jar's great. Jar Jar's great.
I'm not really a cat person. In fact, cats kind of scare me.
They're a little demonic.
Like, I like all animals, and like if there was a cat
Except
in need,
cats.
I'd help a cat. But like if they're just kind of like hanging around plotting to kill me, then I'm not really a fan.
As a cat owner of 2 cats, I will say that happens quite often.
Yeah. So me and cats, we keep our distance and we're happy. But I like Kevin Spacey. I like Christopher Walken. However, I don't think this is going to be a good movie. I just.
I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be really bad. I don't think it's gonna. I'm hoping it's gonna be so bad it's good, but like I'm same thing. I'm not a cat person.
But then
It
again,
doesn't have the cute factor for me.
it's
so.
a kid movie, so like you kind of have to have those expectations.
True.
There's a lot of movies I liked as a kid that I still like today, but I know they're
And, like,
absolute crap.
And kids' movies generally have those little adult moments in them too, where they try and throw something in for the
A lot of
parents.
time,
So there might be a couple of those good moments where you're just kind of like, oh, that's not appropriate.
I just still.
I feel like the concept of this movie is quite a bit crazier than that of a lot of Netflix and Fail movies that we've done before.
That's true.
Most of them are just like a pretty classic storyline, but with like a little tiny twist. This one is this is a pretty drastic twist.
Is this-
I haven't seen this story.
Oh, I guess besides Ninja Turtles, I was gonna say, is this the first kids movie we've done?
I
But
think just Ninja Turtles. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We watched a classic 9 Lives starring Kevin Spacey, and fuck, this movie was awful. So bad. Like,
It was not good.
no.
But I mean, here's the thing. First of all, you have to take some context into account. This movie's not meant for people like us. It's meant
Doesn't
for,
matter.
It's meant for children.
or it's meant for children.
You
Yeah,
know,
but so are
and-
Disney movies.
Yeah.
I like Disney movies.
There's many movies out there.
The reason that I had to think about that first is like there's like a political storyline going on in this movie, and like why did they put that in there? Kids don't
No.
care about that.
Like, literally, we read in the synopsis earlier, but this thing about the skyscraper being the biggest building ever is a huge plot point in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's exactly political drama, there's backstabbing, there's literally a thing that happens manslaughter over it, which we'll get into in a little bit. But
Mhm.
overall impressions, Dylan?
Yeah, it was not good. I think, like, at least this had a couple good characters, like Christopher Walken. I thought he was really good in this movie. He wasn't in it a
You
whole
did?
lot. Yeah, I thought he was great.
He didn't do much, but yeah.
He was walking, so he got my...
Relative to his screen time, like he was great. Like every time he was on screen, I was enjoying myself.
What was the line
So
you were
I can-
laughing at just recently it ended? What did he say or something? Oh no, that was the Kevin Spacey.
That was the Kevin Spacey.
We'll say-
Meow.
yeah.
That hurt.
And I mean, I like Kevin Spacey. I mean, in this movie, not really, I guess. But this was a really bad movie, but it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. So I can say that with confidence.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that statement.
Yeah.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but
Today, yeah, it's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Today, yeah. This year, no, but it's definitely up there.
See,
It's
that's-
on the worst.
see?
You're saying is worse than what we just watched before this?
I think so.
I think so. I much think so.
Really?
Yeah. For the fan, we are always honest with the fans. We watched Independence Day and this back to back. I know there was a break in between, but I watched that, and this is much worse than Independence Day for me. I found it just really. The problem was this movie had its really boring parts. Yeah, there was a few little entertaining one-liners, but like overall the humor, it wasn't even the humor for me that doesn't hit. It was the humor that like skin crawl. I'm like, this is so bad, and I don't want to be watching this. Like that's the worst type of humor for me. Like I really did
Travis
not
was not
enjoy
happy
this.
at all.
I really did. This is one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen. And that's putting it nicely.
But worse than the Do-Over?
No, nothing's ever gonna be worse than Do-Over Ridiculous 6. Even though I said Ridiculous 6, I actually think it's worse than the
Sammy
Do-Over.
Wexler, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, that would already happen at this point, so who knows in that parallel universe. But yeah, I think this movie was awful, complete waste of time. We'll get into some plot points, but what do the ladies think of this?
I can take it for the face value of being a kids movie, so I don't think it's as terrible, because kids movies are, like, especially children's movies that have CGI animals, or people who or talking animals.
CGI and real animal at the same point.
Or talking animals are usually pretty terrible. Like, pretty terrible. I'm not really a fan of many of them. So...
Air Bud was great back in
No, I never liked those films as a kid. Never. So...
Beethoven.
I like Beethoven.
I like Beethoven, but Beethoven doesn't talk.
Sure.
So...
Not to you.
I like Jack Frost.
He's not an animal, though.
Regardless of all these animal kid movies, I can take it for being a kid movie.
Yeah.
So it is what it is for a kid movie. It's
Yeah,
exactly what you
little
kind of
disclaimer on
expect.
there, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah, over the top family, over the top cat, over the top scenarios.
I might disagree with you. Before Jessica goes, I searched in talking animal movies. Bad Mood, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, Marmaduke, Cats and Dogs.
Hated it.
Cats and Dogs, that's a spy one where it's like the cats were evil and the dogs were secret agents.
And there's guinea pigs too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's one that you cannot say you didn't like. Dr. Dolittle.
I did not like Dr. Dolittle.
What? Dr. Dolittle's a
didn't
classic.
And my favorite Disney movie of all time is 101 Dalmatians. I do not like the real life one because the animals talk. Like, I just don't enjoy movies like that.
Fair enough.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Jessica is the biggest cat lover of the room. What did you think?
I think they should have decided to go with a real cat or a fake cat, like an animated cat, but it was so awkward where you'd have, like, mid-scene, it would switch to an animated cat, and it was just... Like,
They wanted the best of both worlds.
I was super impressed the first time the cat, like, because I was like, wow, that cat's, like, really well trained, because it was still a real cat just moving something, and then suddenly it switched, I'm like, that's not a real cat anymore, and that was...
It's pretty obvious,
Yeah.
So that's what they, like, maybe if they had done it better so it wasn't so obvious when it switched, but there was, like, a distinct line, like, the camera would just glitch for, like, a single second.
You'd see an edit, and then, like, oh, it's CG, it's this and that, and... I think lots of the like physical abilities of Cat were all over because there's many times where the cat was jumping off counters and fun. Then when they needed a joke, it would tumble or fall or something like that.
Okay, well you guys no. Okay, here's the thing.
No,
the cat when he was first in a cat, he was tripping around and he was falling on a bunch. And you have to remember the first thing he was drunk. So there's also that.
True.
But then he learned to get better. You learn how to operate the body you were controlling.
Yeah, no,
you learn how to drive a car, that kind of thing.
But like,
eventually you learn how to control a cat body.
From not
and then he
jumping
wasn't
on a
fucking
counter,
around.
from not being able to jump on a counter to being able to scale like a huge 30-story building.
You know what? I'm okay with it because I would have not wanted an extra half an hour where we got to see him learn how to use all of his cat abilities.
I don't want extra half an hour.
They definitely went over him knowing his cat abilities really early because there was that one scene where he's helping the girl with the homework and all of a sudden he just like slides it and just like, wow, that is the right answer. But it was just like, and that was just like the scene of him like bonding with the family, becoming more like a cat type thing. Yeah, and it was very quick. It was very odd.
Well, before we continue, I'll give a breakdown for the people that hadn't watched this movie along with us or have seen this before. So, like we said, the synopsis was the same thing where we left off. He sees this playboy Christopher Walken runs the shop called Perkins.
Yes.
Perkins. And then, so what happens is, how does he get in the... this is the strange thing. So, once again, there's this debate, there's this inner battle in the company over this building and power. So, at one point, he finds out that this tower is not going to be the highest tower in the world, that the guy purposely screwed up that was making it for him, who's like the second in command. They go have a meeting on the rooftop. Something happens where there's a storm and he gets hit and he starts to slip off the building. This main guy, who's played by, what's his name again?
Mark Consuelos?
Yeah, he's Kelly Ripa's husband. He commits manslaughter because Kevin Spacey's hanging on in the bar. He's like, help me. He puts his hand up and he just walks away. It's raining. So Kevin Spacey slips and goes into a coma, which throws him in the
that was
cat's
because So he said on the roof that he was going to fire him.
Yeah,
he
for screwing up.
Yeah, falls off the roof and he's like, you were going to fire me? And then walks away.
Still not a reason to commit manslaughter, folks, just so you know out there.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I hope people know that.
So anyways, so that happens, he's in the coma, and then we see events unfold with his family, tries to win them back. We learn little things like Jennifer Gardner was going to divorce him. There's some weird family stuff which I want to get into, so... For the first half of the movie, we weren't sure who his kids were and who weren't, because he has this little girl who's from Unseries Fortunate Events, plays Zoe, and
No,
then
it plays
Violet. I don't. Oh, maybe was her name Zoe in this movie?
I don't
I
know.
don't
Maybe
even
I
know.
screwed up. Either way, that's his daughter with Jennifer Gardner, and then we meet Cheryl. I think her name is Tiggs. I think her real name. I don't know. His ex-wife is really close with Jennifer Gardner. She has.
You would think they're best friends.
Yeah.
But also they don't like each other. Well,
It's
It's
like a
muddled.
really
It's
very
really muddled.
strange.
I took it as they were friends, and Jennifer Gardner like accepts that her friend is really annoying, but she's like her friend
But I
anyway.
think it's kind of like she likes to like sarcastically throw
Yeah.
things at her because
Yeah.
she's too dumb to realize.
And she was
Sure.
Kevin Spacey's ex-wife. This blonde older lady. She has a young daughter, and then
The young daughter is not related to
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey or anything. She just like tags along for no reason.
Yeah, but we didn't
And
learn
Kevin
that for a
Spacey
while.
also has a son.
Has a son with the ex, and
Which
Right.
is why they're still in attachment.
yeah, and that's Robbie Amell. If anyone watches Arrow, it's Stephen Amell's brother who plays Arrow. So there's this weird family dynamic, and like the first thing is when he's in the coma, I wanted to bring up that like they have a dinner together, you know, to like reconcile, and they do this toast to an empty chair. They're like, "We miss you, Dad. Wake up." It doesn't feel like they're sad or like
Yeah.
have any emotion. They're like a little crying at the beginning, but the rest of the movie it does not feel like their dad's missing. Even if he's like, oh, a bad dad, like they don't even portray anything like they care. But then throughout the movie, they end up showing like they care, right? So it's this weird. The whole family thing is really strange in this movie.
The whole thing too, where they're just like, oh, we can't keep his body alive forever. It's like, no, people go in a coma for like 4 or 5 years
Mhm.
before they get woken up.
No,
They're
like,
like-
that's pretty extreme. It's actually pretty rare for that to happen.
But it happens.
Yeah, but
The way they
It does
treated it
happen,
was
but
like,
it's pretty
we're gonna
rare.
wait a couple weeks, and if he's not okay, let's
It's
call
usually
it. You
based
know.
on like the brain function.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
at the beginning they say he can recover, and then somewhere halfway throughout they're like, no,
There's
he's not
no
gonna
brain
recover, and it's like,
we don't really know a timeline.
No,
It's not
we
really
don't.
clear.
And
for-
it seemed like a lot transpired. Like it feels like they just jumped from one thing to the
I would
next
say a
thing.
couple weeks could have gone on.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
think
was-
like 1 week.
It was the same bowl of cat food sitting out on the floor, so I mean, that would
Yeah.
only be
Well,
like
it
a
would
day
be.
or two.
I think 1 week. We have this weird thing where they make it look like Jennifer Garner's having an affair, but really she was just gonna leave her
Leave him.
husband and have her own place, which was also super nice.
Turns out it was just a real estate
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah.
Kevin
guy.
Kevin Spacey's actual daughter, I said, is very strange in this movie. I think they asked her to play a 5-year-old because there's multiple things that when she greets Jennifer Garner, she's like, "Hi, mommy," and the very first scene that I picked this up was they're at the birthday party. She's around 11. She's 11. It's her 11th birthday.
Yeah.
She blows all the candles, and Jennifer Garner goes, "Good job!" Like something you would say to a 3-year-old.
Uh-huh.
And the whole movie has
Well,
little things like that where it's
I
like
think you're
it's
right.
strange.
I feel like they had like a younger child lined up or something.
Mhm. And
because
they fell
the other,
through.
the other moment too is there's a bunch of fridge magnets. Of course, the cat makes a message out of them.
Yeah.
But the original message that's like, "Hi, mom and dad."
It
or
was
something.
"Good morning, mommy, daddy." And
Yeah,
it was
from like the kid. The fridge magnets are on like the very bottom of the fridge. So this is like a kid who's like
So
just
she's on
learning
her
how to
knees
walk.
doing
She's
it.
on her knees
Not
typing this
even, like,
message
she
out.
had to be on her butt. Like, it's like it is like the bottom of the fridge.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I honestly think they probably asked her to act like
A little
a
younger.
little younger, like or she's just that young and she's kind of acting over the top.
And then-
you
and
know,
then we-
like that how kid actors are. So
And then we get that strange iPad video of like her when she's like 3 with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey looks the exact same, but just has his hair like a little longer, like it's a toupee and dye. But he looks the exact same, like same body weight, same face. Like it's like you just look the exact same you did like from 5 minutes ago. Like it's a classic like bad like childlike movie where the little stuff they
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
pay attention to.
Well, even
because
like
kids won't notice.
No, exactly. They're just like, oh, he has different hair.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like the other kid, like the ex-wife's daughter, always on her phone, blah blah blah. Like that's a typical 11-year-old kid, but she like doesn't go on her phone. She like sits in her room alone. Like
Yeah, we don't
it's
really
just-
see her do anything. We see her go to school
Yeah.
once, which she bails on. But that's why I think it's a week because
She's always just wearing crazy outfits and
yeah,
yeah,
and
Uh-huh.
talking to the cat. Her and her mom are friendly enough, but like
very. Yeah.
they do have this scene with the
Good
other
friends.
little girl where she apparently like she
Posting.
she posts a picture of her crying over dad.
Blackmail.
And she went like cry baby and like there's some little drama there.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. And then And then there's a weird turn in this movie where what's his name? Kevin Spacey's son feels like he failed. He let the company kind of slip out of his hands, and he literally decides that he's going to commit suicide. He doesn't say it exactly, but he says, "I'm gonna make Because the start of the movie.
This is gonna be my first jump and my last.
Because what happens at the start of the movie?
He's like called a little bitch for not jumping out of the plane with his dad.
Yeah, the opening of the movie is
Man
Kevin
enough to do
Spacey
it.
skydiving. He asked him to come with him.
Well, he wasn't actually trying to commit suicide, though.
Was he not though?
Well,
No.
he had the parachute
Yeah.
on, so clearly.
Yeah,
I think it was one of those things where like they were trying to show that she was having an affair, but it was just like to fuck with you. I think it was the same thing where they were just trying to mess with you
Oh,
as
I
a viewer.
think so. Definitely.
Well, and
Yeah, he
that's-
wasn't actually trying to
But
commit
the
suicide.
line made no sense. Could be my first.
No, they
jump
definitely
and
went.
my
They
last.
definitely like
They definitely
did a
like, you're
poor
gonna
job
make
of making it seem like a joke.
And that's
Plus,
where-
like the parachute just like magically appeared on
Oh
his
yeah,
body
he
after
did
he
not
jumped.
look like.
Yeah,
he
there was no
jumped.
straps or anything.
Well, and that's where I take away the thing of like, oh, this is a kids movie. You can't talk or like hint about suicide.
No,
and
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
oh,
Like,
this
there's
is
a lot
kid's movie.
of
manslaughter.
themes, and yeah, like
Yeah, the
like
drunk cat.
having an affair, and then like all sorts of things, and like all the political stuff. Like
that's in all kids' movies.
That's what I was talking about
If
before
you
about
I
the
don't
adult
think
play.
at all
If
kids.
you
None of that
watch
stuff's
that
in
back-
Toy Story.
But, like,
yeah,
it
but
is.
all-
There's so many
Andy's mom's
innuendos.
not getting it on with
There are
Joe
so
Bone,
many
who's real
innuendos
silly.
in
silly.
Toy Story.
There's-
Yes.
There's adult
yes,
quits, I
yes,
agree,
yes,
but yeah.
dude, does all those different things happen in one movie usually? I feel
Well,
like
this might have
sometimes.
been a little over the top, but I'm saying this stuff
Yeah.
happens in every single.
No, I
kid's movie.
agree it does,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's something to do with like the plot. But this movie just had like a lot of different.
I think it was over. Even Shrek, that it makes a lot of adult and then like even sexual jokes. This is took it much further because they did a little bit of both and like things like he does commit manslaughter and there is a guy that
But that stuff happens in kids'
yeah,
movies.
but I think they did too much of it and I don't think the level
Scar
of this is.
legitimately kills Mufasa. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
That's
but,
fine, but that's the one thing. But there's multiple things like Dylan was
it's
saying.
not the one
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Uh,
There's so
what else
many
adulthood
things.
happens in Lion King then after he kills
There's like
Mufasa?
the whole big sexual thing that goes
That's
on.
not a. They're
Simba and
dancing. That
Nala.
doesn't count.
And like he's
they
like
don't actually get it on.
when he's like forcing all the women to like be his slaves and stuff like that. The giant fight scene at the end where he goes to
Or
kill
the
Simba.
references to Hitler and the Nazis with.
But here's the thing,
this
all
is the-
subtle. These are all things you can read into. He literally makes a line
But
saying
to
that he's
a
going to kill
child-
himself.
To a child, they don't get that. Kids
I don't know.
don't get it. This movie,
No,
I would say,
technically-
would be for 6 to 12-year-olds. 6 to 12-year-olds don't know what this is.
Well, and you could say, this
Yeah,
is gonna be my first jump and my last because
Yeah.
he doesn't plan on having another jump. It's
Yeah.
just we're adults.
Especially
with
with
But
Yeah,
they
because
play it
it's-
off like it's going to be
but
suicide.
kids
He's
won't
crying
get
right
it.
before.
But kids won't
See,
get
that's
it.
the same.
I don't know, I
That's the same thing with the
disagree.
Lion King. Kids aren't gonna pull it out as he's like enslaving all these women and over sexualization.
But
in
it's
that
different.
way.
They'll get that he'll kill Mufasa. That's what I mean. They do these little
Yeah,
subtle
and
things.
they're
that
gonna,
are-
But
and
you're
they're gonna
saying
get that he
manslaughter.
tried to kill Kevin.
Yeah, they're gonna
Spacey.
think that guy.
It's
It
the
is
same
true,
thing.
Charles. Like
Yeah.
kids don't pick up on all this.
They don't
I-
pick up on
It's
it.
not that I pick up on it. It's I don't know why those choices need to be made.
Because it
if-
happens in all kids' movies.
But that's fine. Those choices that you guys threw out, they worked. Him, Ryan Mel, pretending to commit suicide doesn't work. So that's why if you're gonna do a fucking talking
I'm
cat,
saying this movie is as good as Lion King.
No, but that's my thing.
But I'm
Lion
just saying
King
that's why they did
it's
it.
made artfully and it has a story and it's very Shakespearean. Kevin Spacey turned into a fucking cat. Should have no manslaughter. Should have nothing to do with suicide. And that's where I say you guys are
But they
wrong.
all
Lion King
do.
has moral messages. This does not have a moral message
Yeah,
because
it's
Kevin
also-
Spacey barely does anything. He helps his daughter with a
You
fucking.
could derive a
the
moral
moral
He
message.
helps his daughter with a fucking homework question and dances with her. That's the only thing he
moral
does.
message is that he learns how to be with his
No,
family.
the moral
He
message
sees
was
it.
he chose to try and save his
Yeah.
son as opposed to trying to save his boss.
It's
That's
the
fair
classic
enough. That one,
storyline
yeah.
of the dad choosing work over his family and then
Oh,
finding
I
his
know.
And then in
questions
the end,
in a
realizing that he has
roundabout
to
way.
choose
I
his
just
and
family.
then
think
choosing his
in a
family.
movie that's so dumb and so little, they could pick different things to do. 100 million different things to do other than these heavy tones. Like, I don't know. It to me, it doesn't work. And that's why, to me, if you're
You know,
going
they're
to do
probably
those
going to
heavy tones, they
differentiate
have to
from
work.
Garfield. They're like, we got some competition in this
Yeah,
cat CGI
John isn't
biz.
talking about killing his fucking neighbor and all, Garfield.
No, but if you listen to Garfield's commentary, especially if you've read the
That's different, though. That, to me, is the Shrek thing. Jokes are different, because kids won't get those.
but that kids don't get this.
No, and that's what I mean. But that's why, if it's for the adults, if that's for us, you gotta make it good. My case is, it's not good.
No,
They
I'm not
didn't
saying
need it
it
in
is,
there.
but I'm saying
That's what
it's in there, so that's why it's there. You can't say that It's just.
But I'm
because
saying they
but
shouldn't
I'm
have
just
put
saying
it in
it's there
there.
because
No,
all
because
kids
all
movies
kids
do
movies
it. They
have it
all
for the
do
adults
it.
that watch. If an
Exactly.
adult's watching it with their kid, they add these little clips in for the adults that are watching it with their
And
kids.
Because adults are making these movies, Travis.
If
I
adults
know, but
laugh
do you?
at it, then the
I
kids
do know.
will laugh. And they'll be
Kids
like,
can't
oh,
make
that's
these
funny.
movies.
I know so many kids under the age of 12 who would think that drunk cat is the funniest thing they've ever seen. They would be
but
laughing
that didn't
so
cross the
hard.
that to me didn't because that happens all the time. I just think it
But
does
they're
happen
not
to
going to
movies.
understand the other jokes. They don't understand them.
No, but that's the thing. They're not jokes. Him jumping off a building wasn't
But
a
with
joke.
the parachute, it is.
It wasn't a joke. It was this big moment, and then he fucking sees a cat in front of him, and for some reason, this is like a epiphany moment, which is super strange.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard the line, I was like, "That's really far for a kids movie. This guy's gonna commit suicide." But I was because we didn't see him ever take his parachute with him, so clearly that's like an editing thing. But
You find me a
He
kids movie that has
has-
suicide in it, and then I'll change my tune. But
We'll
I'm sorry,
find one.
suicide is a very different level of things. That's
Jessica's
one thing that you don't talk about, or you don't like. And the thing is, if you make a crack like that about suicide, then you gotta handle it really carefully. It didn't because he just has a fucking parachute, and it's just like it's totally a joke. Like that to me was like a little over the line, where I was like, not good enough. They didn't do it good enough. Didn't need to be in there. They could have just.
I personally don't feel offended.
I don't feel offended, but I feel
think
it's
you
very
are
low
offended.
class.
You seem a little offended.
No, I feel.
And that's okay.
I
That
feel
is
offended
okay
because I
if
had to
you feel
watch
offended
this
by this
movie.
You're
Like
allowed
it's
to be
very
offended
low
by
class.
I,
Yeah.
however, was not offended.
Yeah.
Did I think it was a good joke? No.
No,
Of
that's
course
what I
not.
mean. They're
Do I think it was a
joking
good
about
movie?
it.
Hell no. This is not a good movie. But, I mean, it didn't offend me.
No. Dylan, you want to say anything more about Christopher Walken? You seem to love him here. I loved him too. I thought
I
he did
don't
a
know.
good job.
No, I'm just saying, like, when he was on screen, it was
He
good
was
times.
good,
Like,
yeah.
I was enjoying myself. Whereas the rest of the movie, I don't think I was. So, I thought he was funny. I think he's just a cool dude. I like the way he walks around and the way he talks about all that
he
stuff.
dances in this movie.
And I liked that he was just like this really strange, like I don't know what
Cat
you'd
person?
I don't know what you'd call him, like a sorcerer or something. I don't know. He's pretty cool. Pretty much. And then at the end of the movie too, he also like villain of this movie. He turns that guy into a cat. So this is just on cycle. He turns people into
He's
cats,
kinda evil.
using up
That's
the
his
cat's
life.
9 lives.
That's his
It's
life.
it's a pretty cool storyline if you ask me.
And I do want to talk.
I can't wait to see the second.
I do.
10 lives too.
10 lives.
92 lives.
I do want to talk about the lives and the way they work. So at one point, when Kevin Spacey first goes to get this cat, he says, "Oh, he's used up his 7 lives." At the end of the movie, this cat ends up falling off a building, so the cat died. And it's at the end, it's like, oh, they give the cat back. Walken gives the cat back to the Spacey and the happy family. And he says, "Oh, you'll spend your last life with you," signifying that his 8 lives, like used 8 lives. So these cats are just using their lives to like help people fulfill their life. That's a shitty life.
Why? You have 9 lives.
Well, now
I don't think so. They could use
If
those
I had
lives.
9 lives, I'd be doing stuff like that.
No, I wouldn't.
If I had 9 lives, I'd invest a life to help others.
So in 9 lives, you would let 8 of those lives have people use your body as a vessel. You wouldn't get to control the body. That's what I mean.
Is ready.
So,
Yeah, maybe I would.
that's
Maybe I
bullshit. That's a lie.
You know, maybe I would.
Jessica, have you found any movies with suicide? Kid movies with suicide?
I've seen lots of death and killing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm
But
told.
that's what I'm saying. You can't necessarily take it as a suicide reference once you find out he has a parachute.
But
It's like
that
saying-
they intended to be a suicide.
they
That's my
definitely did.
problem
And
with
I'm not
it.
saying
Yeah.
it's the best taste in jokes.
No.
It clearly is not.
No.
See, but the thing is,
But-
even that's not coming up. So that's the thing. Like, when I'm putting in kids' movies with suicide reference,
Yeah.
it
Because
doesn't
not
even
enough people have watched this fucking movie, I guarantee you. And that's why.
It's on
Because
Netflix.
movies that do this are bad. I'm just saying, commenters, when you find one, let me know. You guys made a great point with the death of the Mufasa thing. With the suicide thing, I'm holding stay on that. So,
Okay, we'll
yeah.
figure it out.
yeah, well, you can do your research. I'm just like, cool, and then I'll go move on with my life. What was I going to say? Yeah, that's all the notes I had. The last thing was about that lives thing. I think
will
Dylan
say
is lying about
that
that.
the cat noises, like the purring and the meowing,
Really bad.
was really annoying most of all.
Obnoxious.
Yeah. You can
I
tell
mean,
it was a human.
I
think,
have a
doing
cat that meows constantly,
Yeah.
and this was like more annoying than
it.
that.
Yeah.
It's like they took every like really obnoxious noise like a cat's like I've heard cats make noises like that
Oh,
when
yeah.
they get in cat fights, right? Like they
Yeah.
make
But not
And not
like
continually.
horrible noises.
yeah, not continually
Horrible
for an
noises,
hour and a
but
half.
yeah, not like that. That was
And
really
it, like
bad.
half the time, or actually like pretty much all the time, it didn't even sound like a cat. You know, like they
No.
recorded a person making.
Yeah, it
noises.
definitely was a person, yeah.
It was just like the most over the top, like just cat sound effects they could
Yeah.
find.
SpongeBob. Entire episode related to SpongeBob.
TV show,
But
TV show.
Okay, you
Never.
can't.
TV show. I can. I said movies. You can go back and play it
Oh,
back.
Yes, Travis
Ballin',
kept me wrong.
ballin'. Watson.
Can't be wrong.
What do we think about Jennifer Gardner playing his wife? I thought she was kind of loopy in this movie. Kind of.
I mean, I thought her character was kind of boring, but
Yeah.
I didn't think she was particularly bad as an actress. I thought, you know, with the lines they gave her, she delivered them.
She's not even the finale of the
An
movie
effective
with
manner.
their
Yeah,
family.
she was.
No, when they go to pick up the cat
Oh,
again.
no, but
I found that strange.
The finale is Christopher Walken doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I think she was fine. She was just acting in a kids movie, and I'm sure she did it for her kids. You know. Like,
Yeah.
It's just one of those
And
things.
she had that one scene where she, like, in slow motion was chasing.
Leaned on the cat.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Couch.
god.
There's
Yeah.
a
That was
lot of
pretty
weird
great.
slow motion scenes with her and the cat.
Or the sped up scenes
Those
where
are
they try to
cute.
make the cat look faster too.
Or, I think actually the worst part that she was in was when the cat was attacking the evil guy, and like it's clearly
She's
a
not-
CG cat, and her eyes
Yeah.
are not looking where the cat actually is on this guy's body, and it's just really
Credit to
bad.
that guy though. He was, you know.
To set up that
He was
slow
getting
motion
attacked
scene
by
you guys
a
were
cat.
talking about, at one point, Kevin Spacey and the cat thinks she's having an affair. So he takes the key so she can't leave. And her method is she's running after the cat. She jumps off the couch and just does like a springboard starfish to catch him. And it's
Yeah.
like, one, it was slow motion and stupid. But two, it seems like this would not work at all. Like this is gonna slow you
No, it wouldn't
down,
work.
and like you would maybe just kill the cat if you land all that way. So
No, they're pretty resilient.
And then
They got
she-
9 lives.
True, I guess. And then she threatened to neuter the cat if you didn't get the
Yeah.
keys. So, and she said it was illegal to do it to my husband. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all the ones I have. You guys got anything else to say about this piece of shit movie?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever watch this again. In fact, I
Never.
will not.
Never.
I don't, it'd be interesting to watch it with a child just to see the jokes that they laugh at. And
Yeah.
We should have watched it with Taylor.
Oh wow! Yikes!
They're on the salt out.
Yeah.
Salt.
Shade.
I'm not salty.
Yeah.
That's no salt. I love Taylor. He's great. I wish he was in this movie.
Anyways.
You know what? He probably could have pulled it off. He could have been the cat.
Oh, for sure. He should be the Walken role. Actually, that's who I could see Taylor being, the Christopher Walken role.
I don't know if he could pull off those sweet dance moves though.
I have not seen Taylor dance. Scores. I'm gonna start. I'm giving this a 1. I'm sorry. Because once again, when we talk about this, and there is like the do-over ridiculous 6, and I actually remember I gave Last Witch Hunter a 1 way back in the day. And for me, the qualifications are: you look at Netflix, the 5 is like I loved it, hated it, really like. A 1 is hated it. 2 is a don't like it. I could not say I don't like this movie. I can say I hate this movie. Where the last movie we watched, I said, oh, I don't like it. It was boring. It had some action for me to watch and some little stuff I laughed at, but it was pretty boring with Independence Day. This was like, had the boring stuff, and it had the humor where I was like, really like the skin crawling, like, and the way people were acting. That's why I brought up Jennifer Gardner, the way she acted, and it's not her fault. It just felt it felt like such a waste of my time. So yeah, I'm giving him 1 because I fucking hated this movie. I thought it was going to be a 2. I was waiting for more. It's so bad it's good, and we didn't get much of that. I think it was all Walken, and I'm biased because I really like Walken. I like him in any movie, so there wasn't enough good to overlay the bad. So I'm giving it a 1. I have to. I hated this movie. Never ever want to see this again. Ugh.
Wow.
Ugh.
I'm gonna give it a 2 because I can take into account that it is a kids movie, and most kids movies are
Don't show your kids this
kind of
movie.
shit. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
You said most kids movies are kind of shit?
There's a lot of really shitty kids movies. Like I said, I like a lot of shitty kids movies from when I was a kid. I still own them. I'm pretty sure I have 2 copies of
I would say there's more
Aquamarine.
good
So
than bad.
therefore,
Aquamarine.
I know what a shitty kids movie is.
Watch
This
Sharks
is
Fly and
one,
Aquamarine.
but I will give this.
Hey, that's a good one.
I will give this a 2.
Spy Kids.
Young kid. Young
I
Taylor
didn't hate
Lautner.
it, but I didn't like
I'm
it.
actually going to drop it 2 as well. I can't say I hated this movie. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't like it. I really didn't.
No.
I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken was great. It was only an hour and a half long, so I
That's
feel
fair,
like I
yeah.
didn't waste a full 2 hours of my life.
That's true.
Although, overall, we're here talking about it, and that'll probably end up being over 2 hours. But, I mean,
But you guys are worth it.
exactly.
Just about to hit the half an hour mark right now.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, this movie was really bad, but I've seen worse.
Yep.
You know? And I've seen worse this year as well, so.
Mhm.
And this month, no, March is pretty early on. It's probably worst I've seen this month. Alright, what do you think, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick it out with the 2. I can't say I hated it, but I can't really say that I liked it. So I think 2 is, I don't plan on watching it again. But it's one of those things where, if someone was like, you want to watch this movie, and every time there's an awkward moment where it goes from real cat to CGI cat, we have a drink, I'd be like, by the end of this movie, I'd probably be pretty drunk, so why not?
Gotta watch that, and then you gotta watch, what is it, Independence Day for the fusion drives, too.
Whenever they say fusion.
Yeah.
I would like to live, though. My liver would not appreciate back-to-back.
Yeah. And see, folks, that's why we say we need Netflix to change the rating system, because I think I would give this 1 point, unless there's no zeros, I would give this like a 1.5, Because
I would have.
Yeah,
Because it's
1.5.
I
Because
think
it's a jump?
1.5 would be fair, but
That's why we need it. We need we need a new rating system when Netflix fails. So that's our mission, and also tweet at Netflix and get them to stop with those trailers. We forgot to show you. I'm going to show you before you leave.
Yeah, sure.
There's trailers that play on a movie if you stay on it for 3 seconds.
Horrible.
We want those gone. They're horrible. They're loud. They're obnoxious. Terrible music.
We need to start trending some hashtags here.
really bad music.
Those
And
are
the other
cool.
day it
Hashtag
messed
save
up.
Hannibal.
The
Hashtag
other
save
day it
Hannibal.
messed up and it played the what was it, Universal?
They played their theme song that they played at the
Like
logo. It was
the
strange.
production company or whatever is like,
Oh.
and then it played the really bad music, and we're like, what is happening? It was
Interesting.
messed up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in. We're now getting further and further from our first pass as time goes on. Hopefully, in the future, we're going to get one soon.
One day we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
It's bound to happen.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 coming up soon. We
Oh,
got some
yes.
other ones.
Same.
I think it's probably time to jump back in the John Travolta well to save us. I think he can bring us back to
I
Providence.
feel like I watched something with John Travolta the other day and it wasn't good.
Everything he's in is good. He's a legend.
Oh, we gotta check that Jackie Chan, Johnny Knoxville one for you guys. If you guys can watch it.
Is it on? Oh,
It's-
there's a
it's on-
Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Jackie
He was
Chan,
telling us
Johnny
about it.
Knoxville. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it was
Sounds
recent
good.
too.
It
wasn't
was
It
recent.
like last
Sounds
month.
good.
We'll look it up. You guys might get a taste of that.
Well, there you go. Until then, thank
Won't be
you.
boring. Never is.
If you watch 9 Lives, it's gonna be fucking boring. So I'll tell you that much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.